Good job. Quiz 2. Done. And before I forget, right, we're not meeting on Thursday. This is it for the week. Jam-packed.
Oh, right.
Good to remember, right? We're not meeting on Thursday. Really? Because what's the point? Yeah. Tell you a bunch of things and then you have a week or more to forget about it? No way. I'm not doing that. But you will have something to work on. Don't worry. Don't you worry. So today, I just want to introduce assignment 10, our next kind of Excel assignment. But first, I want to tell you how proud I am of you guys for the last Excel assignment that you did. You really blew me away. Some of them I opened and I was like, wow, 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 wow. And I'm so proud of you. I kind of let you fly on your own and you were soaring. It's beautiful. So, well, top that. Today, seeing if we're missing anyone still. He left. He's out of here. But he left his steps, so I think he'll be back. He missed all my praise, so you guys can fill him in. Today we're just gonna work through we are going to work through some regression, just kind of how you would approach it in a typical kind of work setting, right? And so we've got this Duke Forest data, which I realize in my assignment blurb, which I made visible on the front page this time so you don't have to click it. So let's see here. I never mentioned the actual data. Hopefully it's obvious. We're using this Duke Forest data, which is real estate data. And I also put a link to their data dictionary for the Duke Forest data. So Duke Forest is, I guess, a neighborhood in North Carolina. NC is North Carolina, right? Yeah, important stuff. So here you can use this to create your data dictionary, which is probably getting kind of boring by now, but that's the point, right? Make you do all these things until they're kind of, oh yeah, and then she's gonna want a data dictionary. Oh yeah, and then she wants an original data tab. Oh yeah. So that's my goal, is for all of this to be just super boring and naggy, I guess. So first thing you're gonna do is, well, open the data, right? Save the data somewhere, of course. Let's see here. When I click it, oh, it does download. I don't know how to get rid of this thing here. It's like I've never used it before. Let's see here. So I want you to label this original. Okay. You never touch the original data, right? You always want to have kind of a backup. And so just principles of data analysis, you never want to manipulate your original data. You always want to be able to revert back to it. Okay. And so then you're going to copy. And how I copy all the data in a sheet is I go up here. How can I? Can't really zoom in. I click that corner and it should just highlight the entire sheet. And then I copy. And then I pasta. And you always want to make sure that your data just starts in cell A1, right? So it's just not looking pretty necessarily. Okay. And this is the data tab that we're going to be working in. What I noticed when I was reading through the text boxes is that in general, it's just nicer to look at and easier to read if it's on a white background. So I'm adding that to your text box requirement that it should be on a white background, just so it kind of stands out as kind of like a sticky note, right? And so we're not writing proper reports, but you are writing me little text boxes with information throughout. So let's see here. Let's go back to, I can't, how do I, oh, it doesn't want to, whoa. Okay, tried zooming in. It still looks small. Why is it so small? Oh, you've got it in front of you. So hopefully. So there, we already did point number 1. 1 mark in the bag. How about that? Create a data dictionary tab. With the data dictionary, see link posted on Moodle. That's the link that I showed you, right? And so you're going to make a data dictionary tab. Oops, here. Data dictionary. By now, right, you've got your variable names, your description, and move this around here more. I still want to know what type of, hey, what type of variable it is. Let me zoom in here. Your description. So the type, it's either numerical or categorical, and the levels if categorical. We're going to slowly kind of stop doing that and incorporate the levels into the description, but I think it's a good exercise for us still to try to do it. Okay. Hey, description. There. Description? There. So you've got you're going to make your data dictionary. And I posted that link, which has the online data dictionary. You just need to compile it so that it's attached to your data. Right? Then I want you to just kind of, this is a small data set. So I want you to examine the data and just, one thing to note is that we will not be using the URL variable, right? That's just the link to the listing. And so it's been scraped off of Zillow, I think it is, it says somewhere. And so because we're not going to use it, going back to your data tab, although it might be fun, I haven't checked any of these out, but it might be fun. But you can remove this as long as you write me a little text box saying what changes you've made, right? And so just make notes of any changes that you've made, right? Remove the URL variable. It can just be point form, just kind of notes so that if you had to recreate the magic, you could. And so, or if someone else has to recreate the magic, they could, right? So that's the idea. Do you think we'll use the address? Unlikely, right? They're all unique, but might be nice to have it in case there are any outliers, right? Then you could talk about its address, right? So it might be nice to keep it. You're allowed to remove it if you want to, right? I'll let you tell me if anything else sticks out to you in your text box. Ooh. There's one data point in particular that I'm thinking about. Which one? Then I want you to create a new tab and call it modeling. Jury's still out on if modeling should have 2 L's or 1 L. Either or is fine. I like 2 L's because it makes it sound softer. Modeling. It's the important stuff. You're going to copy any of the data that you're going to use for your modeling, right? So anything that you're left with in your data tab from your cleanup, okay? And you're going to copy it into a new tab called modeling, and you're going to make or run at least five linear regressions. So multiple regressions, single regressions, right? Or simple, we usually call them, right? One variable or more, right? And at each point, right, make a note of any adjustments that you're going to make, right? Anything that you notice. And I also want you, no, I don't tell you to, but it might be nice to make a note of the R² value, the adjusted R², right? Because that's how we're going to compare models, right? And so typically, if you're building models, you would just generate a bunch of different models. And we talked about a couple of different standardized techniques, right? We talked about forward selection, backward selection, right? And so you can brush up on those. I think those were in chapter 7 or 8. Right? If you want to have some sort of procedure to follow, that might be nice, right? I'm always a fan of forward selection. Do you remember what forward selection is? You look at all your models with just one predictor variable, right? What are we trying to model? We want to try to predict, I should add that. We're going to predict the price. So the price is our response variable. Sorry, slight oversight there. We're predicting the price. I'll add that to our notes. Or I'll add that in here later. Okay. And so you're going to build models predicting price. Forward selection would look like this, right? Price against bed, then price against bath, then price against area, then price against type, et cetera, et cetera. Pick the one with the highest adjusted R², right? And then that one is in your model, and then you can build on that with the remaining, right? Pick the ones, if it increases your adjusted R², then put it in the model, right? And then that's how, and then you keep going until your adjusted R² doesn't improve anymore, right? It doesn't increase anymore. In the text box by your final model, so the one that you are committing to, this is your best model, and we're just using adjusted R² to determine what our best model would be. Okay. Then I want you to write out what your final model is, which you did a ton of on this quiz, right? So you know what that means, and also what its adjusted R² is. Okay. Now you've got a model that you're going to have to sell your client on, for example, right? This is the one you've landed on. This is the one you're publishing, right? And so now we're going to examine the model fit using the residuals. And so usually you would have to check the residuals for each of the models that you're running. I'm not going to make you do that. I'll only make you do it for one. Right? So you're going to create a new tab called residuals. You're going to copy the relevant data, I should say, into this tab. And then in the next column, how do you calculate your residuals? It's on your formula sheet. Your observed value of y, which is your observed price, right, minus the predicted price, which means you need to predict the price for each observation. Okay? And so you're going to create a new variable called predicted. Right? That's your predicted price. And next to it, create another variable called residuals. Okay? Calculate the predicted value, which you'll need to calculate your residuals, right? And the residual for each observation. Finally, you're going to make a scatter plot with the residuals on the y-axis and the predicted values on the x-axis. It's called a residual plot. Okay? And we use it to usually support how well our model fits our data. Right? And so what you're looking for is random scatter around 0. That indicates a good, a well-fitting model. Okay? And so in a text box with a white background, comment on your residual plot and how well your model fits your data, right? Do you have random scatter around 0, right? Or could there be some improvements there? Right? And that's it. Huh? Pretty fun. So I'll add the note about you want to predict the price. Okay. And then any questions before I let you soar on your own again once more? All right.
When we're making comments about what variables we're removing, do you want that on the data dictionary? No?
Put it in the data tab. Yeah. Nice. Any other questions? Okay. Good luck. You can work on it now. Or I made it due the Monday after reading break, so you've got a long time. But don't let it ruin your reading break. You need a real break. So I'll stop this recording. Just a little shorty.